Hello there. My name is Samantha Davidson, and my internship experience was with a National Health and Marriage Institute, and I was a research assistant for them with a focus on the willpower workshop. So I created and then did some beta testing with that. So how do you start by finding an internship? I actually found out about this opportunity through a prior student's presentation. So be sure to listen in with the future in mind because you never know what sort of opportunities may be coming in the future, and through these, you'll really be able to see the different pros and cons of the different internships. Originally, I contacted Erin Larson and was shooting to work with the Tittle Institute, but those positions had already been filled. So instead, I worked with the National Health and Marriage Institute. A little bit more about HMI. It's a business that's created by Aaron Larson, and he would be your supervisor. It's relatively new, so there's a lot to do. When I first was introduced to this opportunity, he sent me an email with a list of the different projects that I could focus on. And the options that caught my eye was the physical intimacy workshop and then also the willpower workshop. Mainly because I loved the practicum experience, and so I was excited to be able to have more experience in the ability to work with workshops. Later, I did narrow that down to focus specifically on the willpower workshop just because there's so much to do, and I felt like I was able to contribute a lot more with focusing a little bit more narrowly and just focusing on that willpower workshop. I didn't have a lot of prior knowledge, so my supervisor advised that I read this book, and this is actually what the workshop is based on, is this book called The Willpower Instinct. And I really loved it because it shares a lot of research and then practical application of that research, and all the sources are cited so that you can go through and just verify for yourself what the research is showing. And it also explains the why. So we all know that it's important to eat right and get enough sleep and exercise and meditate, but this book explains why it works and how the body functions. It just explains that why. And so those four things are just a small portion of what the book talks about and how to increase your motivation. So if this is something that you find fascinating, how the brain works and the different hormones, how sugar is utilized within the body, things like that, that is a book for you to read that I would really recommend it. With the different responsibilities that I had, they were very diverse, which I loved and really thrived on because that gave me a lot of experience in different areas that I wasn't really comfortable with beforehand. One of the things I did is I read materials like the Willpower Instinct and also other scholarly articles about the different ways that motivation can be increased. And I also branched out a little bit to read The Upside of Stress, which is her new book that came out this last year in 2015, and it shared a lot of the scholarly journals of how stress works, and this was really crucial because one of the sessions that was within the willpower workshop was about stress management. I also outlined and created lesson plans. There was 5 in total, 5 different workshop sessions that came as a result. I did some graphic design through workbook pages that came along with each of the sessions, flyers for advertising, and I also was able to do help out with other projects, and I loved that because then I was able to kind of have a sneak peek of what the other interns are working on. I brainstormed titles and figured out logistics of the workshop, and then I also facilitated beta testing of the workshop, which was what I was really hoping to do all along. And I did this with one-on-one groups, actually just one-on-one group, and then I also did this with a small group of 5 participants. So what I brought to the table, I have a little picture at the bottom that says work hard, have fun, and make a difference. I think it's really crucial to be able to work hard. so that you can make a difference, but you really make a difference if you're able to enjoy what you're working on. As pleasant or unpleasant the work may be, when you seek to find enjoyment, that passion comes through with what you create. So I think that's really important. Some things I brought to the table were uh, I'm very particular about following current research. I think it's especially important that we don't just share good ideas that might have worked for somebody at one point, but that we stay on top of what research is saying about how we can help strengthen families and then apply that. I also was self-motivated and innovative, and that was really crucial to this internship as I was kind of given the big picture and then handed the reins, and that was a little intimidating at first, but it really helped me grow as well. I also was comfortable asking questions, and I think that's really important. After I'd already exhausted my resources to see if I could solve whatever issue it might have been, I was able to ask questions, and that's important. I also had a prior workshop experience through the practicum, and I really have a passion for facilitating and sharing knowledge, and I think that really was something that I contributed, because having that passion really helps, like I said, drive your creations to be better. What I left with was greater confidence in my abilities. I hadn't really done much with graphic design prior to this moment, and so it was it was a stretch for me. But as I stretched, I found that I really enjoyed that design aspect of it. I also grew a lot through the facilitating experiences, and this was wonderful because no facilitating experience is the same, or teaching experience is the same, and so all of those opportunities helped me grow as a teacher, and we all are teachers in many aspects, and so I really appreciated that. I also increased my understanding through current research about motivation, how the body expends energy, brain functioning, and hormones, and the different beneficial or damaging stress responses that our body has. And I really grew in my knowledge of the functioning of the body. So that was something I really liked. But the biggest benefit was the benefit I gained through the self-evaluation. It can be beneficial or a drudgery, and the choice is really yours. I experienced both, and would advise that you choose beneficial in the beginning. I thought it was really just cut and dry. 160 hours was the minimum that you needed to have for your internship, and then as far as the actual requirements were, you were considered done. But you actually have presentations like this. You'll have a final presentation at the end of your internship and a final paper to write. And then every week that you have your internship, you have a self-evaluation report that you type up. And at first, that just seemed like another thing that I put on my checklist. And so it really was drudgery. But I was blessed with a professor that really encouraged me to dig a little deeper. And I appreciated that because as I did these opportunities for self-evaluation, these weekly reflections really started to become precious to me. Um, there was often deep self-reflection, and sometimes that was painful. But it reminded me of this quote by President Uchtdorf, and he said, "Often we try to avoid looking deeply into our souls and confronting our weaknesses, limitations, and fears. But being able to see ourselves clearly is essential to our spiritual growth and well-being. If our weaknesses and shortcomings remain obscured in the shadows, then the redeeming power of the Savior cannot heal them and make them strengths. Ironically, our blindness towards our human weaknesses will also make us blind to the divine potential that our Father yearns to nurture within each of us." And that was in his talk, Lord Is I. This just rang so true. These past couple of weeks, I really experienced this, that as you look deeply into to yourself and have that self-reflection and make that meaningful and beneficial, then you're able to see your potential. Otherwise, when you try to shy away from your weakness, because it is scary and it is painful to acknowledge shortcomings, but as you do that, you're also able to grow in so many more ways because you're able to see that potential that you have and just how great that potential is. So I'd really recommend um, putting the effort into those self evaluations because they really are beneficial. For the workshop or for this internship, I was really prepared through the workshop experience that I had in the practicum. At first, I thought that the practicum should replace the internship and not accompany it, but I'm really glad because really the practicum prepared me through that experience and gave me a solid foundation to build on. So if you haven't taken the practicum yet, I'd really encourage you to take it seriously because it really will enhance your internship experience no matter what that is, whether it's with workshops or not. It really gives you that solid foundation to build off of. So would I recommend this for future interns? I really think that depends on you. It's extremely flexible in the way that is really was helpful for me because I'm a stay-at-home mom. But it was also a con, that flexibility is a con because really you're creating a lot of that structure. So that's something that you can do and set and have that self motivation, then I really think that this could be a good option for you. The first week, I would recommend beginning with a phone call meeting with your supervisor, just so that you can get a big picture of what is going on, and everyone's sort of clear and you're able to ask questions and get everything kind of lined up to set you up for success throughout the rest of your internship. This internship was definitely self-driven and based on the big picture. Like I said, my supervisor told me the big picture and handed me the reins. So if that's something that you can do, then this would be a great uh, option for you. There was different schedules, such as holidays and Saturdays. By that, I mean that my supervisor works a normal work week, and I wasn't able to contact him as much on Saturdays and holidays. And usually that's when I would get most of my work done as an online student. So understanding that difference, that was kind of tricky, and just planning ahead so that I could, if I did have a question, I could plan it accordingly so that we could communicate before that time difference. There isn't a lot of interaction with others, so if that's something you thrive on, then maybe an online internship isn't the best for you. Unless if you're doing more of like straight up workshop experiences, because then you'll have a lot of interaction with others. Um, and this internship really was encouraging, and I really appreciated that. I felt like my strengths and my interests were utilized and taken into account. So that was really helpful for me to grow. And then also there is some potential to earn um, through commission. There isn't a lot of paid internships in our major, but through here, if you do some advertising and things, that is an opportunity. So this sounds like something you would be interested in. You can contact Aaron Larson at al22ut@gmail.com, and he will have more information for you. I wish you the best of luck, whatever your internship experience is.